On a small, remote island in the lower reaches of Barnatuck Bay, there lived a family of fisherfolk by the name of Pruett. There were 7 of them, and they were the sole inhabitants of the place. They subsisted on canned corn, canned tomatoes, pressed duck, whole wheat bread, terrapin, Rice Krispies, crabs, cheese, Queen olives, and homemade wild grape preserve. Once in a while, Pa Pruett made some whiskey and they all had a drink. They liked the island and lived there from choice. In winter, when there wasn't much doing, they slept the clock around like so many bears. In summer, they dug clams and set off a few pinwheels and salutes on July 4th. No case of acute appendicitis had ever been known in the Pruett household, and when a Pruett had a pain in his side, he never even noticed whether it was the right side or the left side, but just hoped it would go away, and it did. One very severe winter, Barnatuck Bay froze over, and the Pruett family was marooned. They couldn't get to the mainland by boat because the ice was too thick, and they couldn't walk ashore because the ice was too treacherous. But inasmuch as no Pruett had anything to go ashore for, except mail, which was entirely second class, the freeze-up didn't make any difference. They stayed indoors, kept warm, and ate well. And when there was nothing better to do, they played crokinole. The winter would have passed quietly enough had not someone on the mainland remembered that the Pruetts were out there in the frozen bay. The word got passed around the county and finally reached the superintendent of state police, who immediately notified Pathé News and the United States Army. The Army got there first with 3 bombing planes from Langley Field, which flew low over the island and dropped packages of dried apricots and bouillon cubes, which the Pruetts didn't like much. The newsreel plane, smaller than the bombers and equipped with skis, arrived next and landed on a snow-covered field on the north end of the island. Meanwhile, Major Bulk, head of the state troopers, acting on a tip that one of the Pruett children had appendicitis, arranged for a dog team to be sent by plane from Laconia, New Hampshire. Also dispatched a squad of troopers to attempt a crossing of the bay. Snow began falling at sundown, and during the night, 3 of the rescuers lost their lives about half a mile from shore, trying to jump from one ice cake to another. The plane carrying the sled dogs was over southern New England when ice began forming on its wings. As the pilot circled for a forced landing, a large meat bone that one of the dogs had brought along got wedged in the socket of the main control stick, and the plane went into a steep dive and crashed against the side of a powerhouse, instantly killing the pilot and all the dogs and fatally injuring Walter Ringstead, 7, of 3452 Garden View Avenue, Stamford, Connecticut. Shortly before midnight, the news of the appendicitis reached the Pruett house itself, when a chartered autogyro from Hearst's International News Service made a landing in the storm, and reporters informed Mr. Pruett that his oldest boy, Charles, was ill and would have to be taken to Baltimore for an emergency operation. Mrs. Pruett remonstrated, but Charles said his side did hurt a little, and it ended by his leaving in the gyro. 20 minutes later, another plane came in, bearing a surgeon, 2 trained nurses, and a man from the National Broadcasting Company. And the second Pruett boy, Chester, underwent an exclusive appendectomy in the kitchen of the Pruett home over the Blue Network. This lad died later from eating dried apricots too soon after his illness. But Charles, the other boy, recovered after a long convalescence and returned to the island in the first warm days of spring. He found things much changed. The house was gone, having caught fire on the third and last night of the rescue, when a flare dropped by one of the departing planes lodged in a bucket of trash on the piazza. After the fire, Mr. Pruett had apparently moved his family into the emergency shed that the radio announcers had thrown up, and there they had dwelt under rather difficult conditions until the night the entire family was wiped out by drinking a 10% solution of carbolic acid that the surgeon had left behind and that Pa Pruett had mistaken for grain alcohol. Barnatuck Bay seemed a different place to Charles. After giving his kin decent burial, he left the island of his nativity and went to dwell on the mainland.